Are you practicing golf regularly, but your scores still aren't coming down? Well, maybe it's time to change your mentality on how to practice. So what do I mean by that? Well, not too long ago, I put out a video on putting, and that when you go to read a putt, you should maybe take the time to go look at the putt from a different angle, and it'll give you a different look as how the putt is going to break. Well, let's do that same idea for the entire sport as a whole when it comes to practice. So in order to do that, let's correlate golf to another sport. Let's say, well, you might be able to tell from the corn behind me, I'm standing in Indiana, so naturally let's go to basketball. I actually think golf and basketball are a lot alike. So in basketball, the main idea is you bring the ball in from the baseline, and then you've got to navigate your way down the court, hopefully with a point guard that has some speed and some ball handling ability. And then you've got to get the ball into the offense to where you can navigate through the defense and create a high percentage shot. And if you don't make that shot, then you're able to get a rebound and a putback. And teams that can do all of those things really well usually fare pretty well in basketball. Well, in golf, you start at the tee box and you got to navigate the ball down the fairway, hopefully with some speed and some control. And then you've got to work on getting the ball into scoring position. And then when you do, when you get it onto the green here, hopefully you make the putt. Or if you don't get it into scoring position, then hopefully you get a rebound, short game shot that gets the ball close, and then you get the putt in for a par, bogey, whatever score would be good for your ability level. So if you do all of those things really well, then that's what brings your scores down in golf. So if we think about it that way, if you've got a point guard who has speed but can't handle the ball very well and dribbles the ball off his foot out of bounds 1 out of every 5 times down the floor, isn't that like being able to hit your driver 250 yards, but 1 out of every 4 holes you're knocking it into the trees? And then if you can't run an offense well and you can't make accurate passes during that offensive set, and you can't create a high percentage shot, isn't that just like not being able to hit irons or other approach clubs onto the green to give yourself a chance at a putt for a par or a birdie? And then if you have a team full of players that can't shoot in basketball, isn't that like having a really nice putter but you can't putt? You see where I'm going with this? So if you think about it that way, it amazes me when I come out to a practice facility like this, and this is the On Target driving range here on Indiana State Road 3 just north of Greensburg. I see people come here all the time that go get a full bucket of balls, and then they'll spend the first 10, 12, 15 balls hitting some irons, maybe some wedges, and then they go straight to the driver to hit the last 3/4 of that bucket, trying to blast that ball out of the back of the driving range. And then, inevitably, they put the driver back in the bag, throw the bag in the trunk, and they're out of here without ever coming over to this awesome pitching green or to the putting green. So they're basically trying to train themselves to be a point guard that's got speed and ball handling ability, but they're not putting any shooters on their team. So if we think about it that way, the next time you come out to practice, or when you decide you're going to set aside time to practice, maybe hopefully on a regular schedule, if you really want your scores to come down, you're going to create the time to come over to the putting green, go over to the pitching green, and hit just as many shots here, be able to score as you do bringing the ball down the floor. If you think about it that way, your scores are going to come down, the game's going to be more fun. I'm Paul Nichols, keep swinging.